All right, ready to dive deep into habits. Today, it's all about how to make those habits stick. We're taking inspiration from Teru Nakashima, that self-affirmation
Oh,
expert.
yeah, I've heard of him.
He wrote this awesome book, helped tons of people change their lives. And get this, his big idea is, what if willpower isn't the main thing holding us back?
Really?
What if it's our level of self-affirmation? Crazy, right?
Interesting.
So that's our mission today, figuring out this whole self-affirmation thing and how it helps us finally nail those goals we keep putting off.
I'm in. Let's do it.
Okay, so to kick things off, can you give us the rundown on Nakashima's core argument?
Absolutely. He basically says that people who are good at, self-affirmation, they kind of have a secret weapon when it comes to forming new habits.
So instead of beating ourselves up for not having enough willpower, we should be focusing on boosting the self-affirmation thing.
Yeah, exactly. But how does that actually work? Well, Nakashima uses this idea called the life advancing triangle. It connects our emotions, mindset, and actions.
Okay, so those three things are always intertwined.
Totally. And self-affirmation is what makes them work together instead of working against us.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection here. If I'm feeling down on myself, I'm probably going to be all negative and then won't want to do anything, right?
Precisely. So self-affirmation, it's like hitting reset on that whole cycle.
So that's where those, what they call the 7 powers come in.
You got it. They're basically a set of tools for boosting and keeping that self-affirmation going strong.
Okay, I'm ready. Hit me with power number 1.
Power number 1 is all about starting small. Makes sense, right?
Tell me about it. I am so guilty of setting these giant goals that I never actually start.
Well, Nakashima, he actually struggled for a decade with social withdrawal and anxiety before he figured this stuff out.
Wow, seriously?
Yeah, he used to set these huge goals, like giving a speech to a ton of people, but it just made him feel super overwhelmed, like he was frozen.
Oh, I can totally relate to that feeling.
So how did he finally break free? It all started with this simple Japanese tradition. It's called uchimizu. Basically, you sprinkle water on the ground in front of your house.
Wait, sprinkling water, how did that help him with social anxiety?
Okay, so at first he was just doing it as a small act of service. He wanted to contribute something good to his family's business. But then, as he kept doing this every day, he noticed these tiny changes in his mindset, his emotions even.
Like what kind of changes?
Just being outside every morning, even for a little bit, it started to regulate his sleep. And he began noticing the small things, like birds singing or the sun on the water.
So he was kind of retraining his brain to focus on the good stuff.
Exactly. And over time, that feeling of peace, the one he got from uchimizu, it started spilling over into other parts of his life. He felt less anxious, started leaving the house more. He even began talking to people again.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
Right. It shows how starting small can lead to these huge internal shifts that eventually, ripple outward. They change how we act and basically our whole reality.
So it's not about forcing ourselves to do things we hate. It's about finding those small, good things that feel good and build, momentum over time.
Exactly.
This is really making me think. So instead of trying to, climb Mount Everest on day 1, I should just start with a walk in the park.
That's the idea. And to make those small steps even easier, Nakashima has these 2 tools, the 20-second rule and the 2-minute try-it rule.
Ooh, practical tools. I'm all ears.
So the 20-second rule is all about making things easy. Our brains are wired to go for the easiest option, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So you make your habit super easy to start. Say you want to work out in the morning. You lay out your clothes the night before, no excuses.
I love that. It's like outsmarting those little excuses our brains come up with.
Exactly. And for those days when even that feels impossible, we've got the 2-minute try-it rule.
Oh, I know those days well. Tell me more about this magic 2-minute trick.
It's all about those small wins, those little boosts. Instead of a full workout, tell yourself you'll do 2 minutes, 1 yoga pose, a few stretches, even just putting on your workout gear.
Oh, I see. Because once you've started, you're more likely to keep going.
Exactly. You've broken that resistance. And then the good feelings from that small win push you to do more.
This is brilliant. It totally connects back to Nakashima and his water sprinkling, right?
Absolutely. It wasn't a magical overnight change, just small, consistent actions that built and built until he shifted his whole world.
Okay, so much to think about already. I'm ready for power number 2. What's next?
Power number 2 is all about the emotional side. Tune your mind, Nakashima calls it.
Okay, I'm ready to tune in.
So it's not just about doing the thing, the habit, it's about having the right mindset to support it. Our emotions, they can either help us or totally sabotage us.
So even if I have my workout clothes ready and I'm all set for just 2 minutes, if I'm stressed, my brain's probably going to find an excuse.
Exactly. So Nakashima has two techniques for this. The excitement list and breakthrough self-talk. The first one's easy. Just list things that make you happy, give you
Oh,
energy.
okay, I love that idea. So what kinds of things go on this list? Like anything goes.
Anything that gives you a boost, music, a call with a friend, a funny video, time outside, whatever works for you. Even planning a trip, even if it's ages away, can give you that positive feeling.
So it's about creating a whole vibe of excitement, not just right before the habit.
Yeah, because when you feel good, taking action is so much easier.
I'm getting it. All right, what about breakthrough self-talk? Is this where we start doing those affirmations in the mirror?
Kinda, but it's more about consciously shifting from negative thoughts to positive ones.
So like if I'm thinking, "Ugh, I'm exhausted, no way I'm working out," how do I change that?
You could try something like, I know I'll feel amazing once I get moving, or even 10 minutes is better than nothing. Let's see how good I can feel.
It's like changing the way you look at the situation. Right?
Mhm.
Instead of focusing on the bad, I'm focusing on the good outcome.
Exactly. You're choosing a different lens.
This is seriously powerful stuff. And remember, Nakashima himself used these techniques to overcome a decade of, social withdrawal. He had to work at it, just like us.
It wasn't easy for him, but he was persistent. And look at him now.
Makes his story even more inspiring, right?
Yeah.
Knowing he had to practice just like everyone else.
Exactly. So, ready for power number 3.
Okay, we're back. More of Nakashima's 7 powers. Ready. We've got make it small and tune your mind down. So what's next in this self-affirmation journey?
Now it gets really interesting. Power number 3, tune your body. Remember that life-advancing triangle?
Oh yeah, emotions, mindset, actions, all that.
This one's all about the physical part of that triangle.
Makes sense, right. Our bodies affect how we feel and how much we can actually, do stuff. But I bet you're not going to tell me to run a marathon.
Nope, Nakashima isn't about those extremes. He gets inspiration from this sports psychologist, Jim Lohr, who's all about core strength, interval training, rest, and stretching. All that good stuff for overall well-being.
So not about punishing ourselves with crazy workouts.
Exactly. It's about building a base, strength and flexibility that helps both our bodies and our minds.
I like that. Building a base.
And, thinking about Nakashima's story, it shows how powerful just moving your body can be. Even that uchimizu thing, right? Being outside, moving a little, it helped shift his energy and his mental state.
It makes me wonder, we separate things so much, workout time, relaxation time. What if we combine those more?
That's a great point. Nakashima actually talks about the Pomodoro technique, those work intervals with breaks.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
He says use that for exercise.
So instead of a big workout, I could just do a few minutes here and there throughout the day, kind of like Nakashima with his water sprinkling.
Exactly. Stretches while your coffee brews, a quick walk at lunch, even squats while you brush your teeth. Make movement a natural part of your day.
I'm loving this. We're hacking our way to a healthier, happier life, little by little.
That's the spirit. And speaking of hacking happiness, let's get to power number 4, mental well-being through food. This one's all about that link between what we eat and how we feel physically and emotionally.
Okay, time to confess my chocolate addiction. But seriously, I do know when I eat junk, I feel terrible, my mood crashes. What's Nakashima's take? Is it going to make us all quit sugar?
He's not about deprivation, thankfully. He points to the Mediterranean diet, says it's great for both physical and mental health.
Okay, but what makes that diet so special? Isn't it just another fad?
It's been studied forever, actually. Research suggests it helps lower risk of heart problems, stroke, cancer, even Alzheimer's. But here's the cool part. It seems to boost mood and brain function, too.
So it's not just about looking good, it's about feeling good on the inside.
Exactly. Whole foods, fruits, veggies, good grains, nuts, seeds, olive oil, fish. It's a way of life, not just a strict diet.
That's a relief. I'm not good with strict rules. Just focusing on adding more good stuff sounds doable.
That's the key. And remember, power number 1, start small. 1 Mediterranean meal a week, swapping some snacks for fruit or nuts.
I can do that. It's about those sustainable changes, not being perfect.
Totally. And if you really want to see how food affects you, Nakashima says keep a food journal.
Good idea. Sometimes I just eat whatever and then wonder why I feel awful. Paying attention could be really helpful.
It's about noticing your body's signals, figuring out what foods make you feel your best. That itself is a form of self-affirmation.
This is all making so much sense. Taking care of our bodies helps our minds, which makes good habits easier. And then we feel even better, like an upward spiral.
You got it. And that leads us to power number 5, become pressure-proof, because life happens, right?
Oh yeah, challenges and setbacks, all that fun stuff. No matter how well we do with goals and taking care of ourselves, things go wrong. So what's the secret to avoiding stress?
Well, Nakashima doesn't claim to have all the answers, but he offers a shift in thinking. Challenges are going to come, but suffering is optional.
Ooh, I like that. So it's not pretending everything's perfect. It's about choosing how we react to the tough stuff.
Yeah.
But how do we actually do that?
He starts with that classic question, is the glass half full or half empty? A quick way to check our usual mindset. Are we focused on what's missing or what's still there?
Some people are just naturally more optimistic, while others are always finding the problem.
That's true, but Nakashima believes we can all train ourselves to be more resilient. Even he wasn't always a self-affirmation guru, remember? He had to work at changing his perspective.
For even the expert had to practice being pressure-proof. That's good to know. But how do we actually do it?
He uses ideas from cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It's all about the link between our thoughts, feelings, and actions. And he has this tool called the ABC Notebook.
ABC Notebook. Sounds pretty straightforward. What is it?
It really is simple. A notebook divided into 4 sections, A, B, C, and D. In the first section, A, you write down the activating event, whatever situation is causing the negative reaction.
So, like, if my boss sends me a really critical email, that's the activating event.
You got it. Then in section C, you write the consequences, how you felt, what you did because of that event. Maybe you felt anxious, bummed out, and you started procrastinating.
Oh yeah, classic stress response. But where do beliefs fit in?
That's section B. Here's where you dig deep. What beliefs are connecting the event to your reaction? So with the email, maybe you're thinking, I'm not good enough, I'm going to get fired, or I can't handle this pressure.
So those are the thoughts causing all the trouble. And we probably don't even realize how much power they have over us.
That's why writing it down is so powerful. We see them clearly, and then we can question if they're even true.
Okay, so we've got the event, the reaction, and the beliefs behind it. Now what?
Section D, disputation. Time to challenge those negative beliefs and reframe them into something stronger, more realistic.
So do we just tell ourselves the opposite of what we're thinking?
It's more than that. Nakashima has 3 questions. First, what advice would you give a good friend in the same situation?
Oh, that's good. It helps you step back, be more objective.
Right. Second, are there any times in the past that might help you now?
I love that. Reminding ourselves we've survived tough stuff before.
And lastly, are you blaming yourself for things you can't control?
So important. It's about responsibility, but not beating ourselves up for things we can't change.
Exactly. Working through these questions in the ABC notebook, we start to see the patterns, the negative thoughts, and then we change them to something more positive and powerful.
This ABC notebook, I'm definitely trying this. Game changer for those tough moments, for sure. But what about when it's not a specific problem? Just those times we get stuck in negative self-talk. Any tools for that?
Of course. That's power number 6, develop your positivity translator.
Okay, that name is amazing. I'm ready to translate some negativity.
This builds on the idea that our thoughts shape our reality. The positivity translator is like a mental filter, changing negative self-talk into good affirmations, catching those I can't thoughts and switching to I can.
So instead of I'm too tired to work on this project,
Yeah.
I'd say I'll feel great if I do just 30 minutes.
You got it. Or instead of I'm not good at this, try I'm getting better every time I practice. It's about focusing on the positive, what's possible, what gives you power.
This reminds me of Nakashima's journey. He didn't just magically have self-belief, right? He trained his brain, chose a better story. And this positivity translator, it's like a tool to do that for ourselves.
Exactly. It's about making that choice. And this power connects to Adlerian psychology too, focusing on future goals, not dwelling on past limitations.
So instead of why did this happen,
Yeah,
it's what can I learn and how can I move forward?
that's the spirit. Taking control, not feeling like a victim. And that brings us to the final power, number 7, boost performance by trashing emotional baggage.
Whoa. Okay, that sounds intense. I'm ready to let go some baggage. What's this one about?
This one acknowledges that sometimes it's more than just negative thoughts. We're carrying around old emotions, anger, resentment, hurts, that weigh us down and sabotage our efforts.
So true, like trying to run with a backpack full of rocks, right? You might move, but it's going to be tough. How do we ditch those rocks?
Nakashima has two techniques. First one, write it down and throw it away.
Seriously, that easy? How does that even work?
Simple. When you feel those bad emotions coming up, grab some paper, write down everything you're feeling. Frustration, blame, all the bad stuff. Don't hold back.
Like a journal session for all the yucky stuff we keep inside.
Exactly. Once it's out of your head and on the paper, crumple it up, throw it away.
Oh, I see. A way of letting go, showing those emotions they don't control you anymore. Sounds really cathartic.
It is. And the second technique, instant self-talk. Have a bunch of positive mantras ready to use when you get triggered.
Like a mental shield against the negativity.
Exactly. Nakashima gives some examples. I'm too big-hearted to let this bother me, or I choose to focus on the positive. But you can create your own, whatever works for you.
The important thing is they make you feel strong, peaceful, resilient. It's about answering negativity with a better, more compassionate voice inside.
Exactly. And even Nakashima, the expert, he had to develop these skills. He talks about how when he was first recovering, sometimes anxiety would hit him so hard he'd have to leave and use these techniques to calm down.
So even he had those moments, and he had to choose a better way to react. That makes it all feel more real, like we could do it too.
Absolutely. These are skills anyone can learn with practice and being kind to themselves. So are you ready for the final power?
All right, we're back for the last part of our deep dive into Nakashima's 7 powers. I gotta say, his whole approach to habits and transforming your life is really inspiring.
I know, right? And he doesn't just leave us hanging with theories. He gives us actual steps to use these powers in our own lives. That's what I love about it.
Okay, so let's get practical. What's the first thing people should focus on if they want to see the kind of changes Nakashima talks about?
He's really clear about this. Self-affirmation is the base. It's like building that deep belief in yourself, knowing you can reach your goals.
Because if you don't believe in yourself, it's going to be tough to find the energy to make real change, right?
Exactly. And self-affirmation, it's not being cocky or anything. It's about knowing you're worthy, even with your imperfections.
It's like being your own cheerleader, even when you mess up.
Yeah.
But how do we get better at this self-affirmation thing? Is it something you're born with, or can you learn it?
Nakashima says it's a skill, like anything else. You can practice and get stronger. And one of the simplest things he recommends is daily affirmations.
Affirmations? Okay. We hear a lot about those, but do they really work? Or is it just feel-good stuff?
Nakashima's seen them work miracles, both in his own life and with tons of people he's helped. But he says the trick is to choose affirmations that really click with you, ones that feel true to who you are and what you want.
So it's not just repeating random phrases. It's got to be personal, something you connect with.
Yeah. Like if you're trying to build confidence, you could use affirmations like, I am capable and resourceful, or I trust my gut.
Or if you're always putting yourself down, maybe try, I'm worthy of love and acceptance just as I am, or I'm going to focus on my strengths and celebrate how far I've come.
Perfect examples. And it's cool because now science is catching up to what ancient wisdom has known forever. Our thoughts and beliefs, they really do shape our reality.
So when we say these positive affirmations, we're actually rewiring our brains, making new connections that support a more positive self-image.
That's exactly it. And the more we do it, the more those affirmations sink in, become part of us. And we start living them out naturally.
Makes me think of that uchimizu thing again. It wasn't just the water. It was the feeling of peace, being present, setting an intention. And that spread into his whole life.
Such a great example. Little things done consistently can change everything.
Okay, so we've got that foundation, self-affirmation. How do those 7 powers help us with specific goals?
Remember, power 1, make it small. That's key for any goal. Break those big, scary goals into smaller steps.
Because trying to do it all at once just makes you want to quit, right?
For sure. So instead of lose 20 pounds this month, maybe it's make healthier choices for one meal at a time. Or instead of write a whole book, it's write for 30 minutes today.
Small steps over and over add up to huge results.
You got it. And those tools, the 20-second rule and the 2-minute try-it rule, they make those steps even easier.
Right, those are great. Okay, what about power number 2? Tune your mind. How do we use that for goals?
It's about having a mindset that supports you, not holds you back. Knowing that your thoughts and emotions, they directly affect whether you take action and get things done.
Oh yeah, it's like if you're trying to climb a mountain, but you keep thinking you'll fall, you're probably not going to get very far.
Exactly. So that's when you pull out the excitement list and the breakthrough self-talk. Fill your life with good vibes and practice changing those negative thoughts to positive ones.
And if you're really struggling with that negative self-talk, remember Nakashima had to work on it too. He chose a better way of thinking over and over. It's a practice.
So true. Now, power number 3, tune your body, reminds us that our physical health, it's all connected to our mental and emotional well-being.
Can't reach your goals if you're running on empty, right?
For sure. So make those basic things a priority: enough sleep, good food, moving your body.
And it doesn't have to be extreme. Start small, find things you enjoy, and build up.
Exactly. Even little things like Nakashima's uchimizu, they make a difference. A few minutes of movement each day is huge.
Okay, how about power number 4, mental well-being through food? I think a lot of people use food to deal with stress or they eat their emotions.
Nakashima knows food can be a trigger. He encourages us to pay attention to our eating habits and make choices that help our mental health.
So it's not about crazy diets or feeling deprived.
Not at all. It's about noticing how food makes you feel, body and mind, and choosing what nourishes you on all levels.
Makes sense. And that Mediterranean diet he talks about, it seems like a good place to start, right?
It is full of delicious, healthy stuff that's good for your whole self.
And don't forget that food journal. It can really help you see the connection between what you eat and how you feel.
Absolutely. All right, power number 5, become pressure-proof. All about building resilience, finding ways to cope when life throws those inevitable curveballs.
Because no matter how much we plan, unexpected stuff happens, right?
Always. This power reminds us we can't control everything, but we can control our reaction.
It's about that glass half full thing,
Yeah.
finding the lessons and the growth in those tough times.
Right. And remember those CBT tools, the ABC notebook, and that disputation process? They help us challenge those negative thoughts that cause stress and self-doubt.
It's about realizing our thoughts aren't always true. We can choose a better, more realistic perspective.
Power number 6, develop your positivity translator. This one's a favorite of mine. Turning negative self-talk into those powerful affirmations.
It's like having that mental filter, automatically switching I can't to I can and I'm not good enough to I am capable.
That's the idea. The more you practice, the easier it gets to choose those good thoughts, training your brain for positivity, possibilities, solutions.
And that fits perfectly with power number 7, boost performance by trashing emotional baggage.
Exactly. Sometimes those negative thoughts, those beliefs that hold us back, they come from unresolved emotions, anger, resentment, old hurts, that kind of stuff.
So it's not enough to just think positive. We got to deal with those emotional wounds too.
You got it. Nakashima's techniques, the writing it down and throwing it away, and the instant self-talk, they're super powerful for letting go of that baggage and making space for healing and growth.
It's like cleaning up the mess, both in our minds and our hearts, to make room for something new and good.
Beautifully said. And I think that's a perfect way to wrap things up. Nakashima's 7 powers, they're not just about good habits. They're about building a life that feels right, balanced, strong. It's about becoming the best you, one step at a time.
Wow, what a journey this has been. Thank you so much for sharing all this wisdom about Nakashima and his 7 powers. I have a feeling everyone listening is feeling inspired and ready to take action.
I hope so. Remember, even small changes make a huge difference. Start with one little habit, one positive phrase, one thing for yourself, and watch those little things grow into bigger and bigger changes.
That's a great reminder. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep believing in your power to change.